Hi, I'm Taylor Ward, and you're listening to Halfway Around the Halo.
Fires the first. The Angels have no hit. The Seattle Mariners racing back to the track. Gone. Big fly for Mike Trout. There it is. Hit number 3,000 for Albert Pujols. Gone. Big fly. Ohtani shot. Walshot leaps up and he got it. Oh my! Taylor has no hit. The Minnesota Twins. The Angels world champions.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Halfway Around the Halo, the LA Angels UK podcast. This is season 7, episode 9, and I am your host, Nick Wright, at LA Angels UK on all your favourite social media platforms. It's been 3 weeks, I believe, since we recorded. Last time we saw this man, he was sunning it up in the Dominican Republic, I think. Toby, you're back in Blighty for now. How's it going?
Yeah, good. I mean, to be honest, I think I was a combination of heat stroke, hungover, and Angels delirium, because at that point we'd just swept the Dodgers and the Athletics. So, a combination of those things meant it wasn't the most coherent episode from myself, I believe. But, I'm back. And, as Jeremy Corbyn says, we're ready to do it all over again.
I didn't think Jeremy Corbyn references were allowed on this show, but I'm gonna let it pass. You're not back for long, though, are you? As far as I'm aware, we're basically having to squeeze this episode in late night on a Tuesday because you are off again, and I have been up a lot of the day. I was up very early, been travelling, so we're just squeezing this in just for you. So I hope you appreciate it. But where are you off to now?
Tomorrow I am back off to Saudi Arabia for some more work on some more boxing. So the weather has been incredible in the UK all of this week. It's baseball weather, right? It's 25, 26 degrees. I am off to Riyadh, where it's currently, well, I say currently, it's during the day about 46, 47 degrees Celsius. So you're looking at 110s, 120s in Fahrenheit.
That is horrendous. So stay inside. Hope you got your factor 50?
Factor 1,000, I think I need.
Does it go up that far? I don't know on SPF what it goes up to, but we'll try and find you some. But it's great to have you back. Great to be able to talk some Angels baseball today. Since we last recorded, we did have a really successful meetup with Red Sox UK. Anybody that follows me on social media will have seen that. I know you weren't able to get down there, Toby, but just shout out to the 5 Halos we had come along to that. Well, that's including myself. But the 5 Halos we had loads of Red Sox. It was a really good starting point for next time we do this, and hopefully we can get more and more of you in the UK to an Angels meetup. Honestly, it was so much fun. Yes, the Angels lost the game, but it was a great game, if you remember. It's the one we got walked off on, but topsy-turvy, kept taking leads, brilliant entertainment. I know you're sad to miss it, Toby, but you have been to some before. People should get down there, right?
Oh, 100%. It's always a great atmosphere. I mean, it can be quite a solitary experience. I feel like watching baseball in the UK at times. It's late nights. It's kind of, you don't really know many people that are into it. So to have that kind of community feel, especially with people who kind of follow the same team as you, it definitely adds to it. And yeah, I mean, I remember I was away at the time, so I remember just scrolling through your Twitter, and just your roller coaster of emotions you went through on that day were just hilarious.
Yes. A few lagers down as well, but certainly was a roller coaster of emotions. And actually, shout out Phineas, who gave me this white cap at that meetup, because Phineas is an Arsenal fan. He's a huge Angels fan and comes to everything. I mean, he's one of the stalwarts of the UK baseball community, and particularly for the Angels. But he gave me this white cap because he refused to wear it, which I say fair play.
I also think he keeps Passy Young in business. He's always there.
That is true. It's single-handedly keeping them in business. But let's get on to some Angels baseball. So we are recording this on Tuesday night after a pretty horrendous weekend, but the mood is slightly better today because of last night's game. The Halos took the game 1-0, 1-0 in extras, which first time it's happened at this Yankee Stadium. I think it's first time it's happened at any Yankee Stadium since like 1990 or something. But a pretty remarkable game. Jose Soriano absolutely shoved. Another no runs given up by Jose. The bullpen came in and locked it down. Just some exceptional plays. Rengifo had an incredible play to get the tag. Neto, I'm sure we've all seen this. we'll talk about Zach Neto later, but he had one of the plays of the season for the Halos, leaping in the air at that shortstop, that famous shortstop position in New York. Just before we get onto the negatives, Toby, I know you stayed up all night as well, like me last night. What did you think of the game?
It was a tough slug. It was a tough slug. It was a good old fashioned pitching battle, and it was good to watch. I mean, the same frustrations, I guess, that there's been the last couple of weeks. So the Angels didn't strike out as much as they have been the last kind of while, I guess. But no, just absolute pure elation. And when it gets to extras, I guess you think, oh, free baseball, great. But for us, it's at that point, it's kind of 3 o'clock in the morning, and you've got to be up in 3 hours, and you're kind of thinking, if this isn't over in the 10th, I don't think I'll make it to 11th. I mean, I was kind of thinking, I don't know if I can hack extras. Made it, was glad I did. No, it was a really good performance. I mean, you've kind of touched on absolutely everything there, but yeah, pitching was really good, really, really good. So no, it's hopefully it's only things to come. The Angels as well are unbeaten in extra innings this season, 5-0.
Is that right? I did not know that stat. That is incredible, and that's not something you'd really associate.
Yankees 1-5, and their win came 4 games ago against the Royals. So before that, they were 0-4. They're now 1-5.
Clutch Halos. So 5-0 in extras. We also led the majors in 1-run wins. I don't know if we still do, because I know we lost one in Baltimore, but we were leading that category as well. So this Halos team, and actually, we're talking about this as positives. This Halos team, actually, I saw some of the peripheral numbers and the stats today. They're kind of fortunate to be even at the record they are in terms of where they rank in all these categories across the majors. They are down the bottom on most stuff other than basically slugging, both on the pitching side of the ball and the hitting side of the ball. But we'll talk about that when we touch on the Orioles series. But really, really great to see that win last night. Hopefully they can carry this momentum into the rest of the series. It'd be great to even just split it. Another win, I'd be happy. Obviously, another 2 wins, delighted. If you can win this series and take another tough place on the road, that would be incredible. But yeah, happy to see Nolan Schanuel hit that winning run as well. And then some great pitching to back that up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Schanuel he's played incredibly recently. I think his stats are just off the charts the last kind of few weeks or so. So no, he's been picking it up, and like you say, everyone was chipping in last night. The weekend kind of wasn't as pretty, I think. But I mean, the Yankees, it couldn't be a better time to play the Yankees. Kind of being swept by the Red Sox as well. It's just they haven't scored many runs recently, so it's kind of a good time to be playing them. So hopefully, like you say, we can pick up some momentum. The Angels are kind of middling at the minute. They'll win a few, they lose a few. They can't really string anything hugely together. I did see, however, today that they are currently on pace for 77 wins. So blowing your prediction right out of the water.
I always hope they would. I mean, but we have seen they can go on some big losing streaks, and anything's possible, particularly at the trade deadline, which they are very much still sellers for, and they should be, and they should take what they should get for this team right now. But Schanuel, great to see, really happy, and actually one of the few, we get lots wrong in this show, but I think I've probably backed him more than others across Angels community. You generally saw quite a lot of negativity about Nolan and his lack of power and at a traditional power spot at first base. But the stuff he offers, this Halos lineup, very, very few of our hitters offer. I mean, we know this. You look up and down there. I mean, the averages are terrible. The on-base percentage is terrible. The strikeout rate is terrible. Nolan bucks a lot of that. I mean, he's probably the Angels' best hitter this year so far. Consistently, him and Zach Neto. So shout out to him and everything he's doing. Just wanted to go back to your point on extras, by the way. That was exquisite. I hate them so much. Like, for us, as you said, it's just, you sit through, like, sometimes you're sitting through, particularly home games, it's like 5:30 in the morning. Your eyes are like this, aren't they? You're like glued them open just to try and get through to the end of the game.
The old Mr. Bean matchsticks.
Exactly. It's literally a bit like this. And when extras comes along, you're just, especially if you lose them. If you win, I don't mind so much, and it's always fun to celebrate a win in extras. But when you lose them, it is the worst possible scenario. And actually, that's why I've always said, on a biased perspective, that runner at second is the best thing that happened for a long time, because we had games, didn't we, where it would just go on and on and on. And at least having that opportunity to end the game in 10 or 11 is much better for us over here, selfishly.
Yeah, I mean, selfishly, I was actually at Angel Stadium for the longest regular season game in Angels history against the Blue Jays the season before they brought the Ghost Runner in, and that was just that was attritional. That was horrible. Just going on to your point about how we get a lot wrong. Are you changing your opinion on one Joe Adell?
No, I can't just yet, but I was going to talk about him. I mean, fair play to him. He has turned a corner. I really, really hope it's real. The numbers suggest it could be. I mean, he's not just fluking this, actually. It really does look
it's over a prolonged period now as well. It's not like he's had a week hot stretch. This is like weeks worth of good hitting now.
His record in June is really, really good. His record in May was quite good. Basically, since the start of the season, the first few weeks, he's actually been one of the Angels' best hitters. And actually, the numbers are showing it as well. The underlying stuff does project him to actually have made some big strides. I still need to see it over a longer period of time. I don't think he's a centre fielder. I think he needs to get back out to right field if we want to maximise his value. But yeah, hold my hands up. Joe is doing a lot better than I thought he would. And I certainly don't believe we should be DFAing at this point. There's actually a lot of talk I've seen about trading him now and people wanting to get
he might have some value for the first time in 4 years.
But now people are worried about wouldn't get enough for him, or he only goes if you get a big haul. I've seen him on some lists which are just like only on big terms. So whatever. I mean, fair play to Joe. We needed it. It's been a long time since he came up to the majors and made his professional debut, but finally showing signs of life, and maybe he's a part of this future. But yeah, thanks for bringing up Joe. I really appreciate being called out on that one. I've always liked him, always rated him, always thought just trying to give him that little.
Never doubted him.
Just needed to give him that little kick to start progressing. So shout out to him. But let's take it all the way back now to the weekend. Again, we were on a high. We were going into the series with the Orioles, who have been pretty terrible this year. We won the homestand. We swept the A's again. We took the series against the Mariners, 5-1. Fantastic. Here we go into Baltimore. Let's continue the momentum. And we get swept. Where do we start?
Well, I think you start with the expectation that was brought upon the team. The Orioles have been poor all year. The Angels looking good. And I don't know if they expected that they would kind of go in and with this momentum, playing a team that's kind of reeling slightly, I guess, and recently fired their manager and kind of look a little bit all at sea and just expect to walk over them and roll into Yankee Stadium with an extra kind of 2 or 3 wins on the board. And it just, nothing worked at all. It was, the final game was just embarrassing. Mm-hmm. It really was. 11-2, I think it ended. It was sad. I mean, obviously, Schanuel getting the home run, the Angels' 100th of the season, which is quite a stat, but it's just not good at all.
Yeah, again, and I feel like maybe we're just biased and maybe we look at it through a certain lens, which is why I think this. But a lot of the time when we lose, it just feels so avoidable, right? It doesn't feel like we're being beaten up on by teams very often. I mean, obviously that Sunday game you talked about, we were. But on the whole, I feel when we lose, like it's just mistakes that get compounded by more mistakes, or bad pit, or Ron leaving pitches in for too long and things like that. And it's just
a strikeout in a key area, or bringing up the wrong pinch hitter and things like that.
Yeah, and it's just so frustrating. And actually, on that note, this is where I just want to rant. I mean, we've all seen it, but what on earth was Wade Jr. doing in that game at that point?
What's he doing on the team?
It's a fair question. But even on the roster, how has Ron looked at his bench and thought, that is the guy I needed? I would much rather have just had Newman stay in the game. Honestly, much of a muchness. Newman could have done, well, I mean, he could have done whatever Wade did.
At least I've seen him hit.
Correct.
Newman. Honestly, I've seen him had a couple of good hits.
One of the worst decisions I've ever seen. Also, Logan O'Hoppe was sitting there on the bench. And yes, he's in a massive slump. Yes, I appreciate that. But I don't care. He's a better hitter than any of those others that we had available. We have seen him hit grand slams in this situation. We know he can do it. He's hit 14 bombs already this year. That is the guy you put up there. I'm sorry. That is the guy. Ron looks at his bench and goes, who do we need a big clutch hit from? Who can hit it out of here? Who's got the power? That is O'Hoppy. It's not Wade Jr. So I'm absolutely livid still. And actually, on that note as well, Toby, I just want to talk about Ron because, I've never been particularly impressed by Ron. But right now, I have just had enough. For me, he needs to finally stop this. He needs to stop trying to get these shitty vets going. We know they're not going to. Stop doing it, Ron. We are winning games, and that is fine. Even if we're not winning games, we do not need these veterans to keep getting these at-bats taken away from young guys. Christian Moore was another guy on the bench there. I would much rather have seen Christian Moore have that opportunity. Yes, he hadn't had a hit yet, but we know he's a big part of this future. Give him the opportunities, right? From now on, Ron, play your best team. Put your best lineup out there. And if you're not putting your best lineup out there, at least put some of these young, potential, talented guys we have that have come up, put them in the lineup and let them play every day. It's one of the two. It is not plug and play veterans to get them going when we just know their history shows they are not good enough.
It's not plug and play when then you can't. They're not playing. Like they're playing, but they're not. You may as well have you or I up there. They just add absolutely.
You've seen me in the pages,
value.
haven't you? So you know that I would have been a decent option.
But guys who are batting like sub 200, first of all, why trade for him in the first place? Guy adds no value. He's got the most, or I guess least defensive runs saved at his position in the league so far, like -6 or something. He's been awful at the plate, awful defensively, and yet we traded for him. I do not understand the decisions that they've made in that pickup. There's plenty of guys that are raking the minors. Bring back up JD Davis. Bring back up someone like Nico Cavadas who can like fill in those positions. Bring back up just anybody else. Like, why trade for a player who's clearly not got it?
Fully agree. And actually, that has been a knock on Perry, I think, throughout his tenure. He keeps signing these guys. He keeps trading for these guys. He thinks they can do a job, but they're just scrubs. There's a reason why he's getting them for players to be named later or cash considerations. Other teams don't want them. Why should we want them on this roster? If you are genuinely believe that this team can be competitive and push it on. And his contract, I mean, he's got another year on this, but like he needs to win as well. Artie Moreno wants this team to win, regardless of his actions and how bad he is as an owner. He refuses to let them rebuild fully because he is deluded enough to think that this team can win. So what are we doing? And this brings me again back to, I mean, Perry's another question, but Ron, what is the point of him as Angels manager when he keeps making these bad decisions? He keeps leaving pitchers in too long. We keep seeing mistake after mistake, and it can be attributed to his management as far as I'm concerned. Picking the wrong players, putting them in the wrong spots. I've had enough, to be quite honest. If he goes, I would be pretty happy. I said when I think Adam Rank was on here that it's time for some fresh blood. I don't care if they have to learn and they have to take their knocks. I just want something fresh, some fresh perspective. One of the new generation. There is the new generation of coaches that have just retired or played the game in modern times. Not Ron, who's a dinosaur, right? Give me something fresh and modern. I've had enough.
And like I've said as well, the thing that bugs me the most about him is that he never takes accountability. It's never his bad decision. It's never, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. It's always, they should have executed better. Like, if you put them in better scenarios, they will execute. You're not putting them in the right positions to do it. Like, ultimately, yes, you can only kind of lead them so far. But if you're not setting them up to succeed, they're not going to succeed. And the fact that he's just so eager to throw players under the bus in front of the media, yeah, do it in-house. Like, do it in-house, do it in the clubhouse. Do it so nobody knows about it. But the fact that you're openly just bashing your players just doesn't sit right with me at all.
Me neither. I mean, I'm done with him. You can tell. I'm done with him. He's not the future for this Angels team either. He's not. I don't think he's even the guy we need right now.
A 73-year-old whatever it is should never be the future.
Yeah, precisely. It's not a win now team, and he's not a win now manager as far as I'm concerned. And yes, maybe he's had a positive impact on some of these young players, but I think that time is coming to an end. I want to see the right decisions made. I want to see the right personnel in there, and I want to see the young guys get every single opportunity they can to keep on progressing. So for me, it's cheerio, Ron, and get a new guy in. On that Baltimore series, another guy to talk about. We talked about the trade deadline coming up, where I think the Angels should be sellers. Rengifo finally showed signs of light. 2 home runs, one from each side. Is Rengifo starting to heat up as he did last year in the second half? Do we believe?
I said this last year. I said keep Luis Rengifo tucked away, wrap him in cotton wool, wrap him in bubble wrap, whatever, bring him out mid-June.
I do.
What do you know? What do you know? Mid-June, he starts warming up again. I said it last year. Just this first couple of months of the season, don't even pay much attention to it because he comes good. And he will come good. And I do think that he is starting to heat up. And as much as he frustrates me with his lack of effort running down the first baseline, a lot of the time, he has started to actually look like the Rengifo we know he can be. The defensive play that he made yesterday to get the tag on Volpe was it Volpe or whoever was running down?
Yeah, it was. No, it was on Dominguez.
On Dominguez, Volpe was Volpe's ball. Yeah. Oh, that was just insane. I thought he was going to throw and make the throw as well, but he just clearly had taken a helmet to the knee. So yeah, hopefully that doesn't affect him kind of at the dish. But yeah, he's starting to look a little bit more confident, both kind of at the plate and in the field.
We'd love him to have a really hot month and trade him, basically, I think, at this point. Probably the right thing to do for everyone. But let's see. Another bit of a worry, I guess, is Tyler Anderson, who has now had about 7 bad starts in a row, it feels like. Just
his ERA is over 6.5 for his last 7 starts.
Yeah, it's not good at all. And actually, the rotation is pretty poor. Yes, they're all healthy and going back out there every 5 days. But Soriano is an absolute stud. Other than that, bad Boston. I saw the stat just a minute ago. Can't remember who it was to attribute it to them. But if you take out Soriano's worst 2 starts, he gave up 7 runs and 5 runs, and you take out his 2 best starts, which were 0 earned runs, he has an ERA of 2, right? And that includes 5 games in 33 innings pitched of 0 earned runs. The guy is our best starter by miles. Kikuchi had a pretty average start at the weekend, but actually, I like what he's been doing. I think we're getting reasonable value for what we're paying him. Outside of those 2, though, Gahanowitz, Anderson, Hendricks, just nothing exciting there at all, and really is letting us down. Basically, the Angels have to score runs to win those games.
Yeah, I was actually doing a little bit of a deep dive into the Angels pitching because that's where the advanced metrics are way worse than kind of what we've actually seen so far. Kikuchi has been pretty good. He actually leads the majors in walks with 43. Soriano is tied second with 40. So Soriano's been really good, but he's been walking a lot of hitters. And if we can cut those down and get a few more strikeouts, then he'll be good. Jack Gahanowitz is 10th in walks. And as a result of that, there are 3 Angels pitchers in the top 5 in whip as well, walks and hits per innings pitched. So, I mean, they're kind of the raw numbers, which shows that, I mean, Kikuchi's and Soriano are doing well with runners on base, which you can't complain at, but it's extra pitches every time because there are runners on base.
Basically, this is the bad team we predicted doing better than they should be doing, effectively. That's how the best way to sum up this Angels team right now. They are still bad. They are still one of the worst teams in the majors on most stats. They are just happening to have some sort of clutch gene, some sort of ability to win some tight games and to get and pull wins out of there when they've been struggling. So, I mean, fair play to them on that sense. And actually, the power numbers have been good and they've been able to hit the ball out of the park and being able to score runs. So, fair play to them. But this is still a bad team. There's still a lot of work to be done on this team. And that is another big deadline coming up. It's a huge draft. We'll talk about the draft a bit closer to it properly, but that number 2 pick is massive, and actually whatever they do afterwards is massive. I think we got the 3rd biggest bonus pool, haven't we, or 4th biggest bonus pool. There's a lot of good players in this draft that hopefully can boost our farm system. But yeah, the Angels are bad. We're doing all right. They're still enjoyable-ish to watch, I think is the thing. We're still now in mid-June, and both of us are staying up into the early hours to watch them. There is something to be said for that. But let's see how the next few weeks progresses, I think, into July. Toby, I believe...
Bit of enjoyment.
I believe we have another game, right? We are back.
We do. We have another edition of Halo or Hell No, if you are willing to play.
I am. I'd love
so just to reaffirm the rules, if you agree with the decision, it's a Halo. If you disagree with my statement, it's a hell no.
Okay, I think I've got that.
Statement number one.
Tricky, but I'm there.
Mike Trout returns to the outfield by the end of June.
Hell no.
Does this guy heal? Is he the slowest healer ever?
I think he's the slowest healer of all time.
Or has he just got the lowest pain threshold of any player in the major leagues ever?
Well, I think it's a bit of both. He does not like playing when he's in pain, which we know. It took him long enough to come back this time, even at DH, and clearly he doesn't.
He said he was going to have the minimum stay on the 10-day IL. He comes back 5 weeks later.
I don't think he's playing the outfield again all season. I think they might try and trade Soler at the deadline if they have any takers, and then they'll just keep Trout in DH. And I think that's his future. I mean, to be honest, if we have his bat in the lineup, and it has been since he's come back, it's been hotter than it was before other than the home runs. I think actually he's been getting on base a bit more, hasn't he? And average has climbed. So keep him in DH. It is the future. I think if we want to get healthy seasons out of Mike Trout, we're going to have to utilize that spot for him anyway. So
yeah, I mean these are the best kind of DH numbers Trout's ever put together, because he was very rarely DHing prior to this season, and he's never really been that good in a DH spot. So it's good that he's actually showing a little bit of consistency with it. I guess it's just with the consistent at bats that he's getting, but he's actually showing that at least he wants to be out there hitting, because he could very easily go, "Oh, I'm not healthy, I can't run," and things like that, because he's still saying it's a bit sore when he's in the outfield, which kind of begs the question: is it sore when he's run down the line? When he ran out, it
is, because you know the speed's not there.
When he beat an infield single yesterday, and he still looked very quick. But I was kind of thinking he's just sprinted for an infield single. He's going to come out of the game. But luckily, he stayed in. So hopefully that can continue and he can keep getting healthier. But yeah, I'm kind of with you. I'm not sure he does return to the outfield anytime soon. As much as
where do you stand on the batting third versus fifth debate as well, which has been raging since he had those few games at fifth and tore the cover off the ball? It's been raging since he went back to third and didn't quite look as good. But where do you stand on that?
I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Send him back to fifth. Send him back. He was just so good there. I think send him back there. I mean, however, the argument obviously for him at third is the rate that Schanuel and Neto in parts have been getting on base. You want to have someone driving him in, and we know Trout can do that. And there's nobody else in the lineup that you trust at the minute to do it. Taylor Ward's either a home run or he's striking out at the minute, so he's home run or bust. So it kind of doesn't really matter, in my opinion, where he bats in the lineup. Friend of the show, Taylor Ward. He's home run or bust, and yeah, I think it's starting to get a little bit frustrating. That he's not really having the walks that we traditionally see him getting. It's very much becoming a bit of a swing and miss guy, which he's not been traditionally. So yeah, I think kind of you can leave Trout there because he's the best option of a bad bunch, I would say.
Yeah. All right, next one.
Zach Neto will be an all-star.
Hell no, unfortunately, and that's not because I don't think he should be one. I just think he's going to miss out due to who else is playing shortstop in the American League this year. And
such a shame.
Jacob Wilson, Bobby Witt are basically nailed on, I think, as the shortstops.
Yeah, it's such a shame because he's so deserving. I mean, you don't see a Jacob Wilson play kind of retweeted by the MLB official account very often. Zach Neto seems to be either every day or at least once a week. And he's just elite defender. He's kind of got just hitting for power. He's just such a likable guy as well that he deserves it. But I think, yeah, like you say, he's just a little bit far behind at this point. But I would absolutely love it if he was able to make it.
Me too. I was talking about this on O's Across the Pond at the weekend, just before our series with them, the guys there. And I think even with his slump, I think the Angels, I mean, actually now we've seen Trout third in the voting, which just shows how ludicrous all-star voting is anyway. But maybe that'll be an exception. Maybe Trout will be our representative and that's fine. But weirdly, even with his slump, I think the guy that has the biggest chance is Logan O'Hoppe. Just how everything else falls and where pieces are.
Because there's no other catchers in the AL.
There's no real other catchers.
Behind Cal Raleigh, behind Big Dumper.
Exactly. So
best nickname in the league.
We'll see. It is. But yeah, I don't think he makes it, unfortunately, but he absolutely should because I love him. And that should be the voting criteria.
Yeah, we love him. He should go. We should get like they get the media votes for everything.
Exactly.
We should get them. We're members of the media, right? Okay, statement number 3. I know the Angels should sell at the deadline. My statement is the Angels will sell at the trade deadline.
Halo. Yeah, I think we will. I think we will fall away enough by another month's time that they'll have to. They'll have no choice. You're right, though. I mean, it's a fair question because we know if they're close.
We saw it happen 2 years ago.
We've seen it happen. I just don't think they will be. I don't think they're good enough. We've just talked about all the underlying metrics. They're just not good enough to go on a big enough run to be right in contention, as far as I'm concerned. Even though the AL wildcard right now is ludicrously tight. I think they're sellers, yeah. And I don't often get to vote Halo, so I wanted to on this one.
I mean, we've seen the delusion in the front office. So
I think it's the owner.
well, the delusion upstairs, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's still really likely that they're going to end up buying. And the problem is that they don't have the prospects to sell. And it's so difficult because I really can see them trying to gut the farm again of what's left of it, because they gutted it 2 years ago and just absolutely punted on another kind of 3-4 years of contention.
No, I have
because the wildcard race is what it is. I think that they will believe they have a chance.
I have faith that they'll sell. Halo.
Who do you think they sell? Who goes? Who are your top candidates to be traded?
I mean, half of them, but I think Ward, they won't all go. Ward, Soler, Rengifo, Janssen, Tyler Anderson, maybe, but not
if Tyler Anderson doesn't pick it up, there's no value for it.
Yeah, exactly.
He's had some good starts between now and the deadline. Otherwise, he's not worth anything.
Yeah, I mean, effectively, the only guys you're getting anything real value for are Ward and Janssen potentially, but even Janssen's numbers are actually pretty down.
His underlying numbers are very poor. He's averaging the hardest hit balls against him in the league, and it showed there was a couple of hard hit balls that were lucky to fall where they did.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, as we know, the Angels are a bad team. There's not loads of talent here to sell. There are some untouchable guys that we won't get rid of. They are the future of this team. So I think the deadline could be fairly quiet, but at the same time, let's see what happens. Because the wild card is so tight, there might be a lot of teams on that bubble buying. And look what Perry was able to get from the Red Sox last year for Luis Garcia. That's the sort of haul we want to try and get, I think, for a few of these fringe players, if we can. Just some AAA guys that other teams with much better farm systems than us and much better teams than us just don't fit on their 40-man bubble and actually can make a difference to the Angels and boost the farm as well. So, yeah, let's see. But I think there's potential for 5 or 6 of them to go.
Yeah, I think the actual number will be closer to kind of 2 or 3, I think, but there are definitely kind of 5 or 6 guys that you could get at least a little bit for them. Right, moving on. Reed Detmers will start another game this season.
Halo. Yeah. See, post-trade deadline, I see absolutely no reason why he's not back in the rotation. I think this is probably the plan. I think, especially if they manage to sell off someone in the rotation, if Anderson goes, or even if they just decide to send Kahanowitz down or get rid of Hendricks. There's loads of ways this could happen, manifest itself, or an injury. But I think 100% Detmers starts again this season.
I mean, what is it out of the bullpen, though? How do you take that out of the bullpen? How?
Because the bullpen doesn't really matter when you're losing games, and Detmers is one of our best pitchers. Like, give him the opportunity to start again. He deserves it. He has the stuff for it. It's all mental with him. Hopefully, this spell in the pen has sort of turned a corner for him.
I can't believe how incredible it's been. His fastball's up to 98. The curveball.
It's gorgeous.
Honestly, it's like watching Clayton Kershaw. You can tell that, obviously, the way his windup goes, you can tell he modeled himself after Clayton Kershaw, but he's pitching like a prime Kershaw at the minute, just out of the bullpen. It's incredible. The way he switches with the curveball is just insane.
Agreed. I love to watch him right now. Always got a soft spot for Detmers, because I don't know if I mentioned, I was actually there in the stadium when he threw a no-hitter.
Wait, you were there?
Yeah, wow. I was actually there.
Wow, you haven't been keeping your Angels UK legacy on it for the last 3-4 years on it at all, no.
So breaking news for anyone listening here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell me more. Tell me more about Reed Bet.
Maybe another time. I don't want to spoil it all at once.
Right. No, I mean, I'm a big fan of Deppers, and yeah, like you say, it is all mental. If he can keep the mental game going, I think he should be started to be stretched out a little bit more across the next few weeks. I was hoping he'd pitch another inning yesterday. To be honest, I think he's looking really, really sharp, and I think if you can keep him going and just keep him high energy like that, I think he's going to be kind of Soriano levels from what we've seen from him. The stuff is definitely there to do that, so hopefully he can. Right, final one. Nelson Rada will get called up this season.
Halo. I mean, 3 in a row. I like this. Yeah, just knowing what we do about the Halos and their aggressive promotions, he screams like he's coming up probably anytime soon, to be honest. He's had a reasonable year in AA last year.
He's been playing very well.
A very good year this year. Basically doing everything you want except hit for power. But he gets on base, he steals bags, he plays excellent defense. He's a centre fielder of the future for the Angels, and hopefully as he grows and gets older, he'll put on the power. He's never going to be a power guy, but just if he can start turning stuff into doubles and hitting it to the fence, fine. But yeah, he'll be up.
I mean, he's 19 years old, and he's playing on average players I think it's 4 or 5. I think it's 5 years older than him on average every game at AA Rocket City Trash Pandas. Best name in the minor leagues, by the way.
This is like Michael Owen against that 13-year-old in goal.
Well done, 13. Yeah, so if you strike out Nelson Rada, well done, he's 19.
Exactly.
But no, Nelson Rada, I think he's playing really well. He's averaging close to 300 in AA. So at 19, he's not hitting for much power. I don't think he has a home run yet this season. But he is kind of finding that space, and he is very much a plus defender. And out of a centre fielder, as long as they can play above average defence, you don't mind the bat not being there. If the contact's there, you don't mind the power not being there, in my opinion anyway. So I think that there is kind of a high likelihood that he does get a call up this season.
Yeah, I agree. Be shocked if he didn't, but let's wait and see.
When we trade Joe Adell.
Oh dear. No.
Nelson Rada gets called up.
Our best player.
Right, that's the only 5 I had for the Halo or Hell No.
So 3 Halos, 2 Hell No's. But let us know in the comments what you think on all of those.
Or if you have any more as well. If you have any more to pitch for us the next episode.
Yeah.
No.
Either one, but I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you think. Give us a Halo or a Hell No. I'm going to cut this off soon. Just 3 more games against the Yankees here. How do you see the next 3 days going? We basically have our B team on the mound. So
tonight's game will be, I think, a very tough watch. Hendricks on the mound for us. Aaron Judge is going to hit it to the moon against him.
Yeah, oh my
Stanton's going to hit it.
3 home runs for Judge tonight.
It's going to be an awful watch. I don't think Kyle Hendricks makes it out of the 3rd inning. That is my kind of bold prediction for tonight. Against Will Warren on the mound for the Yankees, if he qualified, he would be top 5 in strikeouts per 9. So if you're a betting person, then definitely bet on the Angels over for the strikeouts today.
Well, that's the same for any game.
Yeah, I mean, Will Warren is a kind of solid pitcher. Although Zach Neto, when they faced each other last year, Zach Neto went 2 for 3 with a home run and a double and 6 RBIs last year. So if Neto can keep that up, then we might be all right.
Yeah.
Rest of the series, yeah.
Do you think we win another game in this series?
Yes, and it will be Tyler Anderson's start because
Against Carlos Rodon.
Tyler Anderson has never allowed more than 2 runs against the Yankees.
It's the first time for everything. And it is Thursday in the UK friendly game, because we know. Can we just point out, by the way, I haven't done the maths on it, but I know it's true. Our record in day games this year is appalling. Like
I will go through and I will have a look, and we can tweet it out and go.
Every time we seem to have a UK friendly game, we lose.
It's just awful at the minute. I think on Baseball Reference they actually have a day/night thing. So
yeah, have a look.
There's 1 loss, 2 losses out of 2. 1 win, 2 wins. Okay, 2 for 2, 2 for 3, 3 for 3 with a walk-off win.
That was the Giants.
3 for 4, 3 for 5, 3 for 6, 3 for 7, 3 for 8, 4 for 8, 5 for 8, 5 for 9, 5 for 10, 5 for 11, 5 for 12 with a walk-off loss, 5 for 13, 6 for 13, 6-14, 6-15 in day games this
6
season.
and 15 in day games. There we go. That is about what I thought it would be.
Yeah, and like I say, 4 of those wins came quite early on.
What
so
we're
I guess that's
saying-
2 for 9, let's say.
So I think what we can safely assume is if the Angels stopped playing day games, we would be in the playoffs.
And we would get even less sleep.
Yeah, but I would take that for the playoffs.
Oh, for the playoffs, 100%. I would take no sleep for a week if the Angels made the playoffs. I've been a fan of the Angels since 2018. I've never seen them play in the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it used to be fun. Last time wasn't great either.
If by the end of, what we say, 2027, so 10 years of Angels fandom, if they haven't made the playoffs, I will be leaving the podcast and switching teams.
You're also not allowed to cut your hair until they make the playoffs, are you? So
I don't think I'm allowed in Angels Stadium either.
that is true, but you
I've
are.
never seen.
That's for previous indiscretions. We're not allowed to talk about the pod for legal
I
reasons.
don't know what bad karma I have.
Between the Angels and Cobb, it's not great.
It is painful and the Cowboys in the NFL, and
Yeah.
well, I guess I used it all on randomly picking the Warriors when they were bad in the basketball, and now they've won 4 championships in 8 years. So
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
10
well,
years.
there we go. You take what you can get. Anyway, thanks, Toby. That was a nice run through of where we are in Halo's land. I think quite angry at Ron. Very much noticing that this is a bad team, but we still get excited by them. And let's hope for a surprise in Yankee Stadium like we did in Dodger Stadium. Let's just go sweep them. Let's just keep hitting, right?
Like you say, a lot of the times they are still enjoyable to watch. It's on those kind of rare occasions with the blowout losses or the losses where you think nothing's happening here, and those are just so painful. But they are quite few and far between, to be fair. But they do string a few together.
To be fair, I don't mind a blowout loss when it's early because I can go to bed then.
Yeah, although I do remember one time we did that and they rallied massively. But you did wake up, I think.
I did. Yeah, I did wake up. But even when I go to bed, I'm still kind of semi-watching it. But yeah. Anyway,
I think it's got some more enjoyable games the next few days against the Yankees for sure.
fingers crossed. If you haven't hit that subscribe button already, please go and do on the YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're listening or watching this. Please
Give us a like, leave us a review.
There we go. Do it and respond. Comment. We want to hear from you. We just chat nonsense, so we want you to chat.
Yeah, tweet nonsense at Nick. He loves it.
I do love it. I will click that like button every time. Thanks, everyone. Game is in just over an hour's time. Hopefully, we'll get this up before that. But if not, when you're listening to this, the Angels have won or the Angels have lost. Go Halos.